We want to talk about the Washington Capitals and the St. Louis Blues. They're two good teams, but they're also the last two Stanley Cup champions, which got me thinking, what is it about these teams that allowed them to win Stanley Cups in these last two seasons? We bring in Craig Button to get his view on this as well. And Craig, when I go through the numbers, I look at the video and I watch these teams over the last couple of years. One thing that really stood out to me is how well they get the puck from their defensive zone into the neutral zone, but also into the offensive zone. And you see that with their ranks in the year they won the Cups in terms of outlet pass success rate, completing stretch passes, really opening up the ice, the ability to get it from the defensive zone into the O zone, and then you take a look at all that offensive zone puck possession that these teams are able to have, and it all starts on the back end. How critical an element is that for any team to be successful in the NHL today?
Well, it's incredibly critical. And Mike, it's always very interesting for me. We hear about, the NHL is a copycat league. Oh, look at the St. Louis Blues. They're big, they're strong. Everybody's going to have to get big, strong players and everything. I'll tell you what, if you can't get the puck from your own zone out of it and get attacking through the neutral zone into the offensive zone, doesn't matter how big you are. You have to have an effective plan and players that can execute that plan to be able to back up opponents. Because once opponents can establish a presence in your zone, it becomes very difficult. And the more time you spend in your own zone, we know the chances become greater that you're going to give up goals. So the fact is that when the St. Louis Blues turned the corner last season, once the calendar turned into 2019, they became an excellent team at getting the puck out of their own zone and moving up the ice. And once they got into the offensive zone, we saw how good they were. And the Washington Capitals did it very similarly en route to their Stanley Cup. Effective, as you point out, stretching the ice, making opponents defend more of the ice, which opens up more room for players. And when you have skill like the Washington Capitals have, and don't underrate the skill of the St. Louis Blues because they have a lot of that as well. There is where the similarities are, and that's where teams should be trying to do the copycat thing in terms of emulating Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think when you talk about emulating, it's there's a lot of elements there with St. Louis. They played good team defense. They were capable of that heavy cycle game and those big bodies. But the puck moving was what stood out the most, and the Capitals did it. The Blues did it really well. Now you look at Sam Girard and Cale Makar now in Colorado. You look at Toronto's back end. There's a lot of exciting teams to watch. Maybe try to replicate a little bit of what St. Louis did en route to their Stanley Cup.